Okay, I think we're ready to get going here, TJ. We are now live on Facebook and we are live with our membership. So we have two different audiences today, and I'm going to turn it over to our chamber president, TJ Sullivan, to start us out, ladies and gentlemen.
Welcome, everybody. I want to thank you for joining us virtually today. It's unusual that we do this, but we're living in an unusual time. And so I want to thank everybody for joining us. I want to thank MAPS Credit Union for sponsoring today's forum. It's fantastic to see a virtual room filled with people. This has been a crazy time, and I know that with so many business and community leaders in the room, you know, we are battling through this. We're getting to the stages now where we're going to open. And I can't say enough about what that's going to look like. And this is a time when across our country, everybody is trying to figure out how we do this in a way that's responsible. And I keep looking at this, and this is a reminder to everybody of how important private sector jobs are. This entire getting back to normal is going to be contingent on how well we do and how well we manage the resources that we have, and everybody relies on us. Government jobs, nonprofit programs, schools, they all rely on private sector dollars. So this whole country is relying on you and me and everybody in private sector jobs to come through. And so the Chamber of Commerce is committed to helping you do that. And we're going to be working closely with policymakers to ensure that you and your business are going to be able to hit the ground running. And so if there's something that you need, I hope that you don't hesitate to reach out to Tom and his team, and we will do our best to take that back to the policymakers to work to get it implemented. Tomorrow's election day across America, and placing your vote is vital. Well, today it's too late to put your ballot in the mail. Don't worry about that. You get to go out and see some people, make a connection with a live human being, and drop your ballot off in person. Just go down Court Street. I suggest going slower than 10 miles an hour, but it's not needed. They'll catch it if you drive by and fling it at them. Make sure you get your ballots in. This is a critical election, and surprisingly, we're actually seeing low turnout, which I don't understand. What else do you have to do? I mean, you got nothing to work on, so turn in your ballots, get them in. If you need to know who to vote for, the Chamber has you covered. You can go to your Chamber website and get that information on who to vote for in the local elections. The Chamber remains committed to being on the front lines at City Hall and the state capitol as we seek partnership and collaboration in the policy setting efforts ahead of us. Again, I want to thank all of the attendees for being part of today's event. We'd like to recognize the following elected officials for being present. I'm supposed to look at the chat feature.
TJ, if you'd like, I can run through those with you.
Yeah, why don't you do that for me, Tom?
Okay. We have Mayor Chuck Bennett on the line with us today. Thank you for being here, Chuck. A lot of these have no name by them, so we're only going to be able to report the elected officials that are actually labeled their name. So that Chuck is our sole elected official at this point, TJ.
All right, well, if you want to get people's votes at the last minute, you better sign on. Good job, Chuck, for being there and being present. We appreciate Mayor Chuck Bennett and all that he is doing for the city of Salem. I'd like to recognize our Chamber Board of Directors. And Tom, you want to take a look and see which board members are on?
We have Caleb Williams from Sawfeld Griggs. We have Chamber Past President Chuck Austin. We have Chamber Past President Kurt Arthur. We have President-elect Kathy Gordon from Aldrich. We have Alan Kostick from AC and Company. We have Ryan Collier from Collier Law. And past president Teresa Haskins from PGE. There are a number of others coming in and being added right now, TJ, but that's our first brush pass.
Awesome. Thank you, Tom, and thank you to all of you, past presidents and board members for being here and being a part of it. We appreciate all that you do for our Chamber of Commerce. And now for our virtual head table, we have Teresa O'Neill, who is the Vice President of Global Strategic Partnerships at Travel Oregon. That is an awesome title. If you can have a title, you want to lay that thing down on somebody. Global Strategic Partnership Vice President. That's unbelievable.
Thank
Angie
you.
Onyewuchi, who is the CEO of Travel Salem. Liz Henderson, who's the Director of Outreach at MAPS Credit Union, our sponsor again today for today's forum. Jason Unruh, who is the owner of Hoopla Oregon, Oregon Beverage Service, Cherry Fest Northwest, and Salem Winter Brew Fest. Tom Hoffert, who is the CEO of the Salem Chamber. And myself, TJ Sullivan, I'm a partner at Huggins Insurance.
TJ, we've also had board member Laura Dorn with Berkshire Hathaway on, and Richard Pine, past president of the Salem Chamber, has also joined us.
Awesome. Thank you to Richard, and thank you to Laura for joining us. And now would you please virtually rise for the presentation of our national anthem, to be followed by their invocation by Sam Skiller.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Man, I have heard a lot of Star-Spangled Banners at our chamber lunches under these circumstances, and Mike, that was amazing. Thank you. That was a special one. Thank you very much. Let's give thanks. Lord, we give you thanks. Even during these challenging times, we can see your grace and strength and provision. We are grateful that our numbers in Oregon have been so low. Even so, we acknowledge both the physical pain and the economic pain this pandemic is bringing to our community, especially in Marion and Polk counties. Lord, we lift up everyone who has been infected with the COVID-19 virus, and we pray for their healing. Thank you for the healthcare workers and first responders who have been on the front lines since day one. Bring them strength and preserve their health as they serve so well. We lift up our local businesses and nonprofits who are being hit hard by this crisis. We are grateful for how the community is responding with creative ideas to sustain their activities, but it is hard, so hard. Please grant strength, wisdom, perseverance, and provision. Finally, Lord, we ask you to break through what we see and feel with our human eyes to bring uncommon and mighty hope, collaboration, health, and prosperity. Your word for all this is shalom, not a trite or a common word, but a word of power and hope. It is the very name of our city, Salem, and we ask for your peace and well-being in the midst of these challenging times. Amen.
Well, thank you so much, Mike, and thank you so much, Sam, for setting the tone for a beautiful day today as we celebrate. Mike, I know you're pinch hitting for Ron Peters, and we just want to thank you for your talents. The Willamette Master Chorus has filled many of our ears with beautiful sounds for years and years, and thank you so much for your service to the parish of Queen of Peace as well, Mike.
Oh, thank you. You're welcome.
Thanks for joining us today. And Sam, thank you so much for your wisdom and your words in guiding us into what will hopefully be a very insightful day and reflection as we get ready to start the week in the right way in fellowship and in brotherhood and sisterhood in today's presentation. So thank you both, gentlemen, for sharing your talents. Today we'd like to kick off things by starting with a presentation of our Spirit of Salem Award. At the Salem Chamber, we believe in helping businesses prosper so our entire community may thrive. The Spirit of Salem Award is our chance to recognize influencers who put Salem first and inspire others to become champions for our city. The recipient of this unique monthly award have engaged our Salem citizens and those from all over the Pacific Northwest and quite far beyond. The Hoopla Association, Inc. is a Salem, Oregon-based nonprofit organization that is committed to operating events for local community betterment. Founded in 1999, the Hoopla Association is currently running 3 great Mid-Valley events. Hoopla events are not only geared to be exponentially rich for participants, they are also volunteer-driven, and as such are able to generate significant funds for important community groups. Both objectives are important to the Hoopla Association. Hoopla is the premier 3-on-3 street basketball event in Oregon and is believed to be the second largest event of its kind in the entire United States. We're extremely hopeful that the special 22nd edition of Hoopla will be occurring on August 8th and 9th in downtown Salem, with upwards of 1,000 teams, 4,000 participants, 1,000 volunteers, and thousands of spectators are anticipated throughout the event. Participants, old and young, male and female, and of all skill levels compete in the shadows of the Oregon State Capitol building in Salem. Friends, family, fun, and ball. The Unruh family were born and raised in Salem, Oregon. Jason and his father, Carol, have brought our community together for years in athletics, music, and dining. For over 20 years, this important organization has brought athletic events, but great hope and great athletic skills to the Salem area. Please join me, ladies and gentlemen, in recognizing our May Spirit of Salem Award recipients, Hoopla, Oregon. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Jason Unruh, owner of Hoopla.
Thank you guys so much. I don't typically get nervous when I have to talk, and for today, some reason I'm a little nervous, but you're killing me because you hit me in my heart with. I always cry during a national anthem and a good prayer, and Mike and Sam hit me right in my heart. So you kind of brought peace, and I'm feeling good now. So this is overwhelming. It's a tough time to be in the event industry, and our businesses and our nonprofits have been hit the hardest. You know, when you go from 100 to 0, it makes it tough. But this is definitely a highlight and much needed shot of enthusiasm and hope for me and our organization. And it's such an honor. I want to thank the Chamber for this award. Appreciate all that you guys do. I got to thank our 2 founders along with myself, but Jim Niffen, it was his vision back in 1999 to bring this event to Salem. And my dad and I were running the hoop at the time, and he came to us as the basketball guys. And it was really Jim and my dad's vision to have it at the Capitol. And it's just so crazy to see how far we've come. In 1999, we started with 151 teams. Kind of didn't know what we were doing, kind of did. And 21 years later, we're about to have our 22nd event and over 1,000 teams. We've generated close to $750,000 for our different youth organizations. And it's just, I mean, I'm so proud of this event and all that we do. Personally, I say this pridefully, and hopefully it doesn't sound arrogant. I think it's the best event in Salem. It's something for everybody to look forward to. I, as the tournament director, get to talk to all the teams, coaches, everybody leading up to it, and to have an event that people plan their summers around and, you know, have something to look forward to. It warms my heart more than you could ever know. I've never been a part of an event before, and we're involved in so many events in the Northwest, but an event where sponsors, volunteers, participants, and spectators all kind of equally share in the joy and the enthusiasm of an event. It's very rare to find that. And you know, our top three sponsors, Toyota and Capital Toyota and the Case Bear family, Dutch Bros, Aaron Eastman, and Columbia Bank with Ken Junt. It's amazing the amount of support that we have, and to have a sponsor like Columbia Bank that has been our only bank in 22 years that we've dealt with. That kind of loyalty, it's very rare to find. The players, I mean, what kind of an event can you have where you can play in it as a kid and continue to participate in it as an adult? And we have so many adults that play in it and then go coach their kids. And how special is that? Think about it. You know, there's not many events that you can participate in your whole life. And so it's really unique for the players. Our volunteers, man, we have so many unsung heroes, people that don't look for any accolades, people that give of their time, that just want to do something good and make lifelong memories for people in this town. And to all the volunteers out there, a lot of you on this call, I just can't thank you enough for all that you do. And spectator wise, I mean, I just can't think of an event that brings people together like Hoopla, whether you love sports or don't like sports. We've impacted so many lives in a positive way, and we've created lifelong memories for people. And there are just, I can't think of another event in this town that brings together people like Hoopla does. Races, no matter what economic background you are, males, females, kids, adults, everybody is together, whether you're playing, spectating, volunteering, or sponsoring. And it's the best thing I've ever been a part of in my life. And I thank all of you out there that are a huge part of this event. And anyway, this means a lot. Thank you.
Thanks, Jason, so much. And thanks for the support that you and your family have given this city. Always proud South Salem Saxons as well. So great job to the
Gunner
Hoopla
didn't
group.
go into overzealous dads coaching their 10-year-old daughter's basketball games who may or may not have gotten talked to by several of the officials. So I appreciate that, Jason, for a friend.
You owe me one.
TJ, before you jump into the introduction of Liz Henderson from MAPS, give an update. We had a few more of our board and past presidents sneak on. I'll try and capture everybody real quick. Barb Hack-Resch, past president with Summit Wealth. Alan Rasmussen, Modern Building System board member, as well as Eric Templeton, board member with Amerititle. Our representative, Raquel Moore-Green, thank you for being on, Representative. Wendy Valise, our executive board member, and Jeff Miller with Coldwell Commercial. Thank you all for hopping on.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. I have the pleasure of introducing Liz Henderson, who is the Director of Outreach for MAPS Credit Union. In that role, Liz promotes the benefits of MAPS Credit Union membership through developing and maintaining business and university partnerships. She oversees community outreach efforts and university relations. She has a strong commitment to her community and is passionate about making a difference in the lives of young adults and underserved populations. With a background in human services, she truly believes and lives by the credit union philosophy of people helping people. The positive influence of MAPS Credit Union can be seen across countless community events. MAPS and their community foundation have provided assistance to many organizations during the coronavirus time and put Salem residents and businesses first. The company culture, led by Salem Chamber Board member Mark Zook, emphasizes employees giving back and serving the needs of their customers through service on nonprofit boards of directors and sponsorship for many key community initiatives. Please help me welcome Liz Henderson to share a bit more about MAPS Credit Union and to provide an introduction to our two keynote speakers today.
Okay, thanks for that introduction. Can everyone hear me okay? Thumbs up? Okay, perfect. MAPS Credit Union is a local not-for-profit financial cooperative, and we started out of a principal's shoebox in 1935. Clearly, the tools that we use to serve our members have changed a lot in those 75 years, but our commitment to our membership and to our community has not. Normally, during an introduction like this, I may tell you about our products and services or the fun events that we're doing that are coming up, but I think we can all agree that nothing is running as normal right now. So instead, I'd like to tell you a little bit about what MAPS is doing currently and has done over the last few months during this crisis. First, I will tell you the story of Bailey. She is a MAPS member. Her mom is a local teacher here in Polk County. And over the last 5 years, MAPS has sponsored Bailey's annual project for Dornbecker Children's Hospital. So she would do a coin drive, and then she'd have local elementary and high school students make cards to decorate the rooms of the kids who were staying at Dornbecker. And last month, I got the honor to deliver the news to Bailey that we were providing a sponsorship for her as she goes off to study pre-med in Montana. We awarded Bailey and 15 other high school students with scholarships, all of those students being from Marion and Polk County. And really at a time when seniors are grappling with that loss of what they thought their senior year would look like, it was really great to be able to deliver that little bit of good news. The second thing that we've been doing that I want to bring up is our nonprofit arm of the credit union, the MAPS Community Foundation. So we've been releasing funds to local nonprofits that serve those in need. And really when all of this hit, we did just an initial push of $20,000 in grants to some of our local nonprofits. We've now established a community recovery fund, and we're reviewing grant applications just on a rolling basis. So these grants are specifically for 501c3s and then also for our school districts. So I really wanted to make sure to give that a plug in this group. If there are some of you who are involved or know of a nonprofit or a school district in need, please make sure to go to the MAPS website and check out our community foundation. Beyond that 20,000, we've given out an additional 50,000 to local nonprofits. And then finally, I want to give a big thank you to the chamber and to our speakers and to all of you. I hope the next time I get to speak about MAPS, I'll be telling you about some sort of great community event that we can all be a part of. But for now, I hope you all stay safe and healthy, and thanks for letting us be a part of this. And I will roll right into the introduction of our two speakers. So Teresa O'Neill is currently the Vice President of Global Strategic Partnerships for Travel Oregon after beginning her tenure as the Director of International Sales and Marketing in 2005. Before that time, she honed her hospitality and tourism skills at Travel Portland as the European Sales Manager and as Director of Sales at Kimpton Group Hotels. Teresa is passionate about growing tourism for Oregon and enjoys traveling the state to communicate the best ways to accomplish this task. She oversees the Regional Cooperative Tourism Program, matching grants, industry services, and partnership development program at Travel Oregon. She served on advisory councils for North American Journeys and the U.S. Travel Association's IPW committee. She is the past chair of the Oregon International Marketing Partners, a group of state agencies engaged in international trade, and serves on the Brand USA Partner Committee. In her leisure time, which it sounds like she doesn't have a whole lot of, Teresa enjoys biking, hiking, golf, and relishing in all of the culinary and cultural diversity activities available in Oregon. Teresa O'Neill hails from Montana, where she attended the University of Montana and majored in political science. So next I'd like to introduce Angie Onyewuchi, and she was hired as the president and CEO of Travel Salem in 2007 after a nationwide search. In 2018, she worked with the Salem Area Lodging Association to implement Oregon's second tourism promotion area tourism improvement district, doubling Travel Salem's operating budget. In 2011, she initiated Senate Bill 442 to create the Wine Country Plate, a specialty license plate to support tourism economic growth across the state. The Jobs Bill was signed into law by Governor Kitzhaber. There are roughly 50,000 of these mini billboards on the road, generating roughly 1.5 million for statewide culinary tourism promotion efforts. The Oregon Wine Country Plate was the first of its kind in the United States and the second fastest selling specialty plate in Oregon. In 2008, Angie launched another first with the Travel Cafe, the first ever destination visitors center in the country. The Travel Cafe received the 2008 Governor's Award for Creative Tourism Development and the 2009 Green Building of the Year Award from the Mid-Willamette Valley Green Awards. In 2007, she received the Governor's Award for Tourism Industry Awareness for her work to rebuild the tourism ecosystem in the Mid-Willamette Valley. Before joining Travel Salem, Angie was the executive director for Pinnacle Theater, one of the oldest and most respected community theaters in Oregon, where she completed a $1 million capital campaign to renovate the theater. Prior to that, Angie was the director of marketing and public relations for the Portland Opera Broadway Across America series, where she generated $10 million in ticket sales annually. She directed the branding campaign to position Portland Opera as the 14th opera company in North America and propelled the Broadway Across America series to top-tier status nationally out of 55 markets. Angie currently serves on the Oregon Destination Association Board as past chair, Salem Electric, and previously chaired the Marion County Economic Development Advisory Board. Angie has a bachelor's in journalism from the University of Oregon and lives in Salem with her husband and 2 daughters. She loves hiking in the rain at Opal Creek Wilderness, writing children's books, playing soccer, stargazing, and working on an international entertainment project with a humanitarian heart. Please welcome Teresa and Angie.
Thank you, Liz. As Jason noted, I'm Vice President of Global Strategic Partnerships at Travel Oregon. And thanks so much, Jason, for the call out on that title. First, let me acknowledge that many of you were expecting, and it was the intention of our CEO, Todd Davidson, to be presenting today. He's unfortunately attending to a difficult family situation out of state and sends his for not being with you today. Thank you for taking the time to join us today at the Salem Chamber Forum Luncheon. These are difficult times. Public health crisis aside, we are juggling new work and family schedules while trying to reemerge from our homes by navigating the slow and thoughtful reopening of the state, federal, and county lands. This is a busy time for many, and we're honored you chose to spend some of your valuable time with us today. There are no words to adequately convey the impact that COVID-19 is having on our state. We've endured public health and economic challenges in the past, but none that have impacted every person that lives in Oregon, and none that have been as sudden or severe. The impact COVID-19 is having on Oregonians is like nothing I've ever seen in my 30 years in the Oregon tourism industry. The devastating consequences on lives, health, jobs, and incomes at times feels beyond repair. During this webinar, I'll share with you the tourism economy's outlook at both national, state, and county levels. We'll also discuss Travel Oregon's strategy for recovery and opportunities where you, our tourism industry partners, can be involved. As you can see in the slide, the direct travel impacts. Prior to COVID-19 pandemic, Oregon's travel and tourism economy was booming. In fact, 2019 marked the state's 10th consecutive year of growth in travel-related spending and visitation. In 2019, there were total direct travel spending of $12.8 billion, a 3.6% increase over 2018. The industry employed 117,500 Oregonians, which was a 1.4% increase over 18. And employee earnings were $3.8 billion, a 6% over 2018. In the Willamette Valley, visitors generated nearly $2 billion, directly employing more than 22,300 people. And in Marion County alone, direct travel spending brought $454.3 million to the county, leading to the direct employment of nearly 5,000 local residents. COVID-19 has effectively crumbled our industry, but these numbers demonstrate how integral the travel and tourism industry is to the state's economy and how crucial the industry will be in the state's economic recovery. In April, Travel Oregon partnered with Business Oregon and Small Business Development Center networks across the state to understand the impacts of COVID-19 has led on the business community. More than 5,000 responses were submitted. Nearly 70% of those responses were completed by small businesses with fewer than 10 employees. Some of the key takeaways we learned were the following. Uncertainty and the inability to plan is the biggest challenge facing Oregon businesses during COVID-19, followed closely by a decline in sales. 40% of Oregon businesses have temporarily closed during COVID-19, while another 2% permanently closed their businesses. The situation is worse in rural counties, with 45% temporarily closed and 3% permanently closed. 50% of tourism businesses saw revenue decline by 90% or more in April. Only 33% of businesses have workforces that can work remotely. Only 12% of tourism jobs can be done remotely. The full report and executive summary can be found on Travel Oregon's COVID-19 online toolkit on our industry site. Next, the tourism economic outlook. Oregon's travel and tourism industry is not the only industry facing an economic crisis. This is a global pandemic. It does not discriminate. It affects are felt worldwide. Research firm Tourism Economics releases a week-by-week outlook on travel spending in the US. Their research shows in the week ending May 2nd, the travel economy witnessed its first expansion in 9 weeks, but it still registered 88% below last year's levels, a $19.4 billion loss. Since the beginning of March, the COVID-19 pandemic has resulted in over $138 billion in cumulative losses for the US travel economy. Declines in travel spending have caused a loss of $17.9 billion in federal, state, and local tax revenue since March 1st. At the state level, weekly data from research firm Smith Travel shows us that Oregon's hotel industry reported significant year-over-year declines in all 3 key performance metrics across the state, starting the second week of March. Compared to this time last year for the week ending May 9th, statewide hotel occupancy was at 28.8%, a 56.3% decrease. Average daily rates were down 33.5% at an average of $80.35 per room, and revenue per available room was down 70.9% at $23.16. This slide chart states occupancy over time. You can see how the decrease progressed sharply, beginning in mid-March as the governor's executive orders to stay at home were put into place. As of May 12th, the Port of Portland reported that the daily number of passengers going through PDX is down 91.14%. And a forward-looking analysis by ADARA based on the number of searches for hotels and flights forecasts intent to travel to Oregon from both domestic and international markets on a steady decline through October. As you know, Travel Oregon is almost entirely funded through the state lodging tax. When travel and lodging are down, so are Travel Oregon's revenues. This massive drop-off in tourism and hotel revenue has severely impacted our agency budget. I shared these numbers on a recent State of the Industry webinar. Current projections, which are based on the statewide TLT, reducing to 1.5% on July 1, an estimate of at least a 40% decrease in our revenue for the next fiscal year. However, if trends in key economic drivers continue, the decrease could be as large as 50%. Before COVID-19 and at a 1.5% tax rate, Travel Oregon's budget was forecasted at approximately $37 million for the fiscal year 2021. A 40% decrease amounts to a $16.6 million reduction. So current projections for fiscal 2021 are $20.3 million. Statutory requirements would dedicate $4 million of this to the RCTP, the Regional Cooperative Tourism Program, and $2 million to the grant program. The balance remaining for Travel Oregon programming and operations is at $14.3 million. As an agency, we have made every effort to manage this decline while preserving essential programs necessary to support our industry partners in rebuilding our economy and minimizing impacts to employment. However, we were unable to continue operating at current levels and have implemented the following changes effective June 1. We laid off or furloughed 30% of our staff, reduced all remaining full-time salaries, canceled or reduced most of our outside contracts, and we've permanently closed our Salem office. These are hard decisions. We respect and admire every employee at Travel Oregon, and the decision to reduce salaries and staff is only a reflection of the economic reality and is in no way related to the service of these employees. What does this mean for Travel Oregon? As bleak as the current financial outlook is, we know that tourism has been a key economic driver for state and local economies and will be a vital part of Oregon's economic recovery. We've developed a strategic plan that is parallel to the governor's phased reopening plan that focused on the tourism industry with crisis, recovery, and rebuilding phases. We are still in the crisis phase and have been working to share as much information and resources externally as possible. Before we can begin tourism marketing on a large scale, we must meet public health standards, and multiple emergency declarations and travel restrictions must be lifted. The governor's reopening plan may also prescribe physical distancing requirements that we will need to comply with, as well as mileage guidelines around non-essential travel. However, today I'm pleased to share some of the work that focuses on the recovery and rebuilding phase of our plan. The grant program is certainly one of those important measures that we will focus on in recovery. It's an effort to support entities that have direct ties to driving overnight visitation. Travel Oregon opened its COVID-19 emergency response grant program May 11th through the 15th. That closed on Friday with over 350 applications. Program applications may be used for general operating support with the goal of maintaining jobs. Continued operations of small businesses and regional and destination marketing management organizations will be vital to the travel and tourism industry's economic recovery efforts. The total funding currently available for this program is $800,000, and grant awards will be announced on Wednesday, June 3rd. We're also working on a regional cooperative tourism program guideline changes. The staff, in partnership with the Regional Destination Management Organization, and for the Willamette Valley, that's the Willamette Valley Visitors Association, which Angie works closely with, is refocusing operating guidelines to address emergency management scenarios in response to the tourism industry's needs. In May, we'll provide new options on the menu of investment opportunities that focus on COVID-19 related economic recovery. In marketing, Travel Oregon is currently assessing how our marketing will be most impactful, aiming to drive travel across the state as soon as it is appropriate to do so. Our strategy for this recovery campaign is based on our shared experience that in times of crisis, people come together. That as Oregonians, we have a general desire to lift one another up. Right now, that is helping each other get essential things we need to survive. In the coming months, it might be helping our communities rebuild what we've lost by being more intentional about who we spend our money with and where we travel. We plan for this to be a phased campaign that allows us to speak to audiences as government regulations are lifted and consumer mindsets transition from fear and frustration to hope and exploration. We'll also be focused on an educational webinar series. Travel Oregon's developing a series in partnership with key state, regional, and local partners to source business development and engagement opportunities. The first webinar will be held in partnership with the State Office of Outdoor Recreation, U.S. Forest Service, and the BLM, and will focus on reopening public lands and will occur on May 19th. The second webinar will be held in partnership with the Oregon Restaurant and Lodging Association and local hotel operators, and will focus on reopening best practices for the lodging industry. That date is to be announced. Please look for more information on this upcoming webinar series in our industry e-newsletter. We are working to position ourselves well for recovery when the time comes. For example, we are working with the Oregon Destination Association, with the Oregon Restaurant and Lodging Association on putting together an inventory of the various restaurants and lodging establishments across the state that are open or plan to open in the near future, so the agency can better support a strategic reopening that supports public health and begins to rebuild local economies. We will have more on that soon. Travel Oregon's industry website has multiple resources for industry partners, and that's industry.traveloregon.com. We do have a COVID-19 toolkit that has been well used. In an effort to support our partners with up-to-date information, we've created an online toolkit that provides multiple resources from local, regional, state, and national partners. You can access the toolkit from the green banner that can be found on the header on our industry website. It includes resources for funding opportunities at multiple levels, links to webinars and trainings, weekly travel data reports, survey opportunities and reports, FAQs, and messaging information for your business or agency. And in our newsletter, to make sure we're sharing agency information with all of you, we're now sending our industry e-newsletter on a weekly basis. The newsletter will include information about grant opportunities and deadlines, provide updates around business relief programs, and to sign up for our industry newsletter, please visit traveloregon.com/industry and scroll to the bottom of the page to find this link to sign up. And finally, I encourage you to connect directly with your destination management organization, Travel Salem, or regional destination management organization, which I noted is the Willamette Valley Visitors Association, if you're outside the city. We have weekly calls with our RDMO partners, and they provide Travel Oregon with frequent updates on what is happening within the industry at a local level. This is a difficult time for everyone in our state and our nation. Some are hurting more than others. Where I am optimistic is that Oregonians are resilient and committed to the state and supporting their fellow Oregonians. The tourism industry will be redefined by how we show up to support our local businesses. As we begin to rebuild the industry, Oregonians will come together to reopen in a smart way that supports the stabilization and growth of Oregon businesses that employ and support local families and communities first. Together we can go through this, we can get through this. It will be different. Nothing's going to go back to just the way it was. We have to be smarter, more strategic, and look at new ways to partner and support all industries in this recovery effort. And with that, I'd like to now pass this on to Angie, and I can't say enough about how important of a partner Angie has been to us. She really does understand how important it is to collaborate and knows that that's exactly how we're going to recover. So Angie, I'll hand it over to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Teresa. Wow, it's wonderful to hear from you. And I know it's been a difficult time, so thank you for all of that information that you're sharing with our community. I'm Angie Onyewuchi, President and CEO of Travel Salem, and it's an honor to be here with all of you today. I really want to thank Travel Oregon for all their support and leadership during this unprecedented time. I would like to provide you with a quick overview of how the coronavirus global pandemic has impacted Travel Salem and our local tourism and hospitality industry. The world changed overnight, demanding that we adapt at lightning speed to function in a new paradigm. The tourism and hospitality industry is connected to every corner of the global economy, and right here in the Mid-Willamette Valley as well. Before the crisis, our local tourism industry was thriving and delivering amazing return on investment for our community. Last year, the tourism sector contributed $638 million to our local economy and generated 7,400 direct jobs in Salem and Marion and Polk counties. But the coronavirus has changed everything for the time being, and each and every one of us has had to respond and adapt to be able to survive the economic fallout from the global pandemic. In response to COVID-19, Travel Salem acted swiftly to make sweeping and deep cuts to our budget through the next 15 months. We made decisions early on to reduce staffing levels, renegotiate contracts, and eliminate paid advertising and promotions. We continue to seek grants and loans with forgiveness, as we are cautious to assume any debt position due to revenue instability. This is an overview of Travel Salem's 15-month revenue projection, which is supported by Salem's lodging community. Our projections take into consideration details announced by Governor Brown on May 7th for reopening Oregon, as well as travel trends, group cancellations, and a possible second phase of the virus this winter. In the immediate 3 months from April to June, we anticipate losing 70% or $198,000 of revenue, which we won't make up in any future period. We have forecasted cash flow through the end of next fiscal year through June 2021, which maintains the severe cuts I just outlined. Travel Salem's overall revenue loss is forecasted at 52% or $705,000 over the next 15 months. This is the Chinese word for crisis. It's made up of two characters. The character on the left represents danger, and the character on the right represents opportunity. Travel Salem has intentionally chosen to focus on opportunity and innovation as we navigate this crisis. We shifted our scope of work and our messaging strategies to meet the needs of our businesses and stakeholders. And we are creating a comprehensive recovery plan that will help lead our industry back to a position of strength. We have retooled and redefined our role and how we support our communities. Travel Salem is the Mid-Willamette Valley's destination marketing and management organization. We are uniquely positioned to execute a comprehensive recovery strategy for our region. Our work is not replicated anywhere else in the community. Travel Salem is an investment in an economic engine that drives large volumes of visitors and their spending into our community. We are future focused and work to keep the pipeline full. Our job is to bring back travel demand once the economy reopens. We created a webpage highlighting available financial and other resources, which we update multiple times each day. We have reached out to specific sectors, including lodging, restaurants, cultural and heritage organizations, and event planners, offering support and asking how can we help. We are promoting businesses, including restaurants offering takeout or wineries offering curbside pickup, on our website and through our social media channels. We will continue to offer our support and assistance as businesses begin to reopen. Since early March, Travel Salem staff have been closely monitoring and analyzing data and trends from industry experts to help us adapt strategies as conditions and traveler sentiment change. Research shows that when people are ready to travel again, they will plan staycation trips to uncrowded places within a relatively short drive from their home. We expect to see a return of the Great American Road Trip, with travelers craving to reconnect with family and friends. They will also favor businesses that have implemented extensive safety, cleaning, and social distancing practices, and will actually demand that businesses ensure their safety and well-being. Based on these statistics, Oregon and the Salem region will be well positioned to welcome visitors back. Consumer data reveals a massive shift in sentiment, confidence, and behavior related to travel as a result of the crisis. We quickly adapted our content and programming to meet these new expectations. We must remain emotionally intelligent as we navigate rapidly changing consumer sentiment and deliver inspirational content that keeps our destination top of mind. We are the voice of the destination, and we can't let our destination go dark. Our messaging is designed to help ensure that our community is viewed by the outside world as sensitive and in tune with current events. We know that the travel rebound will not be linear, so we need to plan for a recovery in 2 phases. First, short-term immediate travel following the lift of shelter-in-home and travel restrictions. And second, longer-term strategies as we return to some level of normalcy. Right now, while shelter-in-place rules still apply, our content is designed to inspire people where they are, in their homes, connecting to the outside world at unprecedented levels through their mobile devices. When it's safe to explore again, we want to be their destination of choice. We have a moment in time to take advantage of new opportunities as a result of COVID. There are 2 factors that have well-positioned Oregon's brand in the global spotlight. 1, Oregon took quick action to stop the spread of COVID and was proactive in assisting other states. And 2, consumers' positive sentiment toward uncrowded and natural spaces. These factors combine to perfectly position Oregon to capture an elevated volume of travel when communities open up again. This is great news for our region, as research shows that people will choose to travel to communities they perceive as safe and that offer connection with nature and authentic local experiences. To reiterate this point, we recently received a phone call from a potential visitor from Colorado who said he was so impressed that we sent ventilators to New York. He said Oregon represents the kind of people he wants to be around. So forget about California or Washington. I'm coming to Oregon for my next vacation. We recognize the opportunity presented by Oregon's heightened brand position, and we will continue to align with our partners at Travel Oregon and the Willamette Valley Visitors Association as they lead branding and marketing efforts on a national and global scale. We launched a campaign titled Miss You Already, which features whimsical but heartfelt messaging that is sensitive to the crisis and sets our destination up for welcoming folks back when the time is right. We have a responsibility to ensure our messaging is tailored to fit the sentiment of the visitor and reflects the state's current stay-at-home guidelines. We also want to build anticipation because the global lockdown is creating significant pent-up travel demand. Our most recent data shows that social mentions about needing or wanting a vacation increased by nearly 130%, while discussion about dreaming of vacation increased by 17%. How do we best position our destination to compete for these visitors? These are examples of work underway to inspire visitation and prepare our destination for success in the short term and over the next 18 months. We're creating new content and initiatives in response to the shifting demands of travelers, including exciting video content and new signature sports events that adhere to social distancing guidelines. As we look toward recovery, it is important to note that Salem and the Mid-Willamette Valley is not reliant on any one sector. We attract a healthy mix of visitors to our destination. Our portfolio, so to speak, is well-rounded mix of leisure, convention and group business, sports tourism, and corporate and business travel. Travel Salem is developing a recovery plan that we look forward to sharing in the next couple of weeks. COVID has put the spotlight on the travel sector like never before. People all over the world recognize the inherent value of the freedom to travel and the overall economic impact has on our local economies. Communities understand the quality of life and jobs created by the tourism and hospitality sector. And during the month of May, we are leveraging the power of National Tourism Month to celebrate the spirit of travel. Hopefully many of you caught a glimpse of the Union Street pedestrian bridge, which was lit up in all red recently as a salute to our local industry. Red is the nationally recognized color for tourism and hospitality. Thank you to each of you for your support and for supporting our local businesses in so many ways. At this time, I'd like to do the official unveiling of Travel Salem's new anthem video. You're the first to see this brand new content. This is our way of expressing our gratitude for what you do every day to keep our community strong and vibrant. This is our tribute to you. Stay safe and be well.
The world has finally discovered the wonders of Oregon, where rolling hills and lush landscapes are paradise. Art comes to life on center stage or in the middle of the sidewalk, and where angry or happy skies are part of our intrigue and character. Where creeks are opal, waterfalls are silver, pioneers are gold, and the state's capital is named for peace. Salem and the Mid-Willamette Valley is a welcoming place, home to historians who unearth tales of the underground, and farmers who open their fields to anyone who wants to visit. Where you can meet the brewmasters, chefs, crafters and creators, strong and spirited entrepreneurs who delight in sharing the fruits of their labor. Recently, the strength and resiliency of our community has been tested like never before, and we've accepted the challenge. To the chefs, shopkeepers, winemakers, and performers using their pioneering spirit to give lift to our region, we say thank you. To everyone who is helping out, digging in, building up, and moving forward, we raise a glass in your honor. We will come out of this stronger than before. And when the world is ready to explore again, we'll be here. Salem and the Mid-Willamette Valley, the most Oregon part of Oregon.
Thank you to Teresa and Angie for that insightful look. We really appreciate you guys and what you're doing for the tourism industry across our state and locally here in Salem. And I think, right now, if you get to the point where you've had too much COVID for one day and you just need just something to do, just a quick way to just reorient your brain, just say Onyewuchi. Everybody say that right now. Just say Onyewuchi right where you're at. See, isn't that fun? Don't you feel better now, right? It's just a little bit of a quick pick-me-up.
I feel better. I feel a lot better. That's great.
You gotta get out. So we know that we're going to return to vibrancy. We know that this area has a lot to offer, and so we look forward to welcoming people. And I hope that the guy from Colorado, I hope when he gets here, I hope that he is treated to all the spectacular stuff that we have to offer here. We appreciate the tremendous support from MAPS Credit Union and their active employees in helping make Salem so special. Really, Mark Zook sets a great example for the folks that he works with. And we're just really proud to have Mark on our chamber board. And a lot of people don't know this about Mark, but Mark is a all-star in the credit union community, and he is doing big things across the country, and a lot of people turn to Mark for guidance. And so just appreciate the ability to have Mark on our board and in our community. And Liz, thank you for representing MAP so well and all the outreach work that you do. Next month, we are set to showcase the triumphant return of the Business Excellence Awards. This event will recognize our businesses of the year in 5 distinct categories, and we're holding out hope that this event will be our first all-chamber member gathering coming out of the governor's ban on large social gatherings. No word yet on whether hugs are going to be allowed. Could just be a lot of elbows, but hopefully there'll be some full-body hugs in there. Watch for event announcements in the months to come. We appreciate the concierge service at each of our events by our ambassadors group. We're looking forward to seeing you guys as well. Thank you for all the work that you guys do. Hoopla, you guys, Jason in the stats, he didn't include the number of concrete burns and Band-Aids that people go through. That's also a huge part of Hoopla. It's also fun to watch the over 50 category, but just lots of three-point shooting, no real drives to the basket. That's also a lot of fun. But we do appreciate, that's outside of Spokane, Hoopla in Salem is the premier 3-on-3 event. And the way it's going, we're going to overtake Spokane. So great job to Jason and that organization. Finally, Chamber Businesswomen, you're going to be meeting via Zoom lunch tomorrow at noon, and check the salemchamber.org for updates. There's no flowers this month from Ross. So, I know a lot of you were hoping to win some free flowers. So do me a favor, just go to your nearest Ross and buy them. How about that? Stop in, hand sanitize, throw on a mask, and pick up your flowers, all right? And you can say hi to Wyatt Sexton, our own Kyle Sexton's son. If you go to the Vista Market Ross, Wyatt's in there. Wyatt'll take good care of you. And also remember, finally, vote. You get the government that you elect, and so please make sure your voice is heard. We need you to be voting, paying attention, and if you're not quite sure on local races, again, go to salemchamber.org for that. Have a tremendous week. We look forward to seeing you out and about here shortly.
Hey, TJ.
Have a great week.
I think we wanted to open up some Q&A for our presenters.
Oh, probably right there, Tom.
But I appreciate you zipping on that format. Nice work.
You should have made that part of the agenda bigger.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to turn it over. All of you have been brought into the panelist portal, so if you have a question, you may unmute yourself and let us know if it's directed to Teresa, Angie, or both. Thank you so much.
Hey, this is Kurt Arthur. My question's for Angie. Angie, can you tell us where our hotel occupancy rates have been over the course of the past month or so?
Sure, Kurt, great question. So things really got pretty, we anticipated things getting really ugly in April. We've been tracking very closely with our lodging partners. They report to us every month, right at the very end of that month, so we know what's happened in real time. So in April, we were down about 47% is our estimation of how things perform. So other parts of the state are, down 80%, 90%. But Salem, because of the mix of business that we have here, we've stayed fairly strong. And our rates, our hotel rates, stayed pretty strong as well. So some of the other parts of the state are in the, single digits or double digits, low double digits of occupancy, but we've been in the 30% to 50% range, which is wonderful. And the folks that are staying in our hotels are the essential workers. We also have some construction crews in there, and we actually even still have some leisure coming through. In particular, we saw some Canadian folks moving up north to get home. And we've even, believe it or not, we've even had some folks that live here go stay in a hotel room because they wanted to get away from their family. So anyway, we seem to be doing okay, better than other parts of the state. Thanks for the question.
letting these panelists off easy today. Well, thank you all so much for hopping on. And the Salem Chamber wants to continue to thank all of you in business for really toughing this out. It has been extremely unique is the phrase that everybody's used. We know the impact on our local businesses, and we're so proud that you've hung on. Our organization continues to provide resource mapping for our businesses. We do really firmly believe that the quicker we can reopen our doors in a safe manner will provide the healthiest impact for our economy. So while the public health lens will be how we evaluate whether we're ready to go to market safely, we are very much encouraging those who can have influence to assist us in making sure businesses may reopen in a safe manner so we can really try and get the economy moving forward. And thank you all as small business owners, operators, and employees for continuing to invest with the Salem Chamber and see the work our organization is doing. And we tip our hats to all of you who are on the front line of making sure that your businesses, your employees are receiving paychecks and doing absolutely the best we can to have a safe business environment for our Salem citizens. We'll conclude with reminding everybody to get your ballots in tonight or sometime tomorrow via drive up. And everybody have a great rest of your Monday, and we'll look forward to seeing you in the month to come. My best.